This is False Neutral Media, and today we have a special guest, Jeff, with Whiskey Throttle Media on the pod. We're going to be talking about Detroit, a lot of things in Detroit, the media side, a little bit about Whiskey Throttle. So, Jeff, let's get into it.
Let's go.
Why don't you start off with what you guys do? Obviously, Whiskey Throttle Media, you guys are going to all the rounds. We met at Washougal and had an absolute blast there. But yeah, start us off with a little bit about you and what you do in the industry for media.
So I'm one of the owners of Whiskey Throttle. It's me, David Pingree, of course. Multi-time Supercross winner. Came up a couple points short in 2000 against Bentley for that championship. You should bring it up to him sometime. He loves to talk about that one. He's also the guy who snapped his bike in half in Phoenix. He absolutely loves that conversation. But
Okay.
yeah, Ping's a legend, and we became buddies. I don't know. I moved to Southern California in 2018. Met him maybe a year later, and from going to the Whiskey Throttle shows and just kind of went from there. And I've been in the oil and mining industry for 30 years and just got a pretty good business head on me and, just started helping him out with shit. And I'm a lifelong moto fan, and I don't know, I picked up a camera and started to help out and did 1 year with my little Sony RX-10 last year and now I'm running around with a damn movie studio, a handheld movie studio. I've got a brand new FX3. That thing's sick,
Yeah.
and I never thought I'd be a video dork, and never thought I'd be into all that shit. And that shit's fun as hell, dude.
Yeah.
I can film way better than my fat ass can ride. So
Right. I feel the
it,
same way.
yeah, I have no business on a motocross track, dude. I'll be the first one to admit that. But see, I'm from Northern California too. I'm sure your fan base is from NorCal. I grew up in Napa, and so grew up. Knoxville was in our backyard, it's Napa County, and we would go to Knoxville, Stony Ford, Cow Mountain,
Nice.
all
Yep.
that stuff in the pines. That's where I grew up riding. I got a ranch south of Livermore, 20 miles. With we got about a square mile up there on top of the mountain with 20 something miles of trails on it. So I was a decent trail
Nice.
rider back in the day, and then just working the mining and refinery. Hell, I think I went 15 years without riding a dirt bike, and I got the bright idea to start riding again, and here I am. But I'll tell you what, it's humbling, when you go out and go ride with Ping and GL and those guys, and
Yeah.
uh, you're reminded very quickly that you absolutely suck, and these guys are far removed from their prime, and they're
Oh,
just whacking
dude.
you. I'll see you later, man. I'll meet you over there, dude. I just humble pie, but no, I just kind of got into the filming, and I like it. We got Nathan that helps out, and so I'm doing a lot of the rounds this year. The only round we're not going to do is we're not going to do Daytona. Just it's so cost prohibitive to get a flight there, to get a hotel room. The whole bike week thing's really not my scene. I just don't give a shit
Mm.
about it, that kind of stuff, that life. So I'm not going to pay to go down there and do all that. But every other round, we're going to cover that, and then I think Nate and I are going to split up the nationals this year. But yeah, we're hitting it hard, man. Just growing and trying to make our little dent in the moto world. Our kind of take on things is, we've got the Whiskey Throttle show. We've got a bunch of podcasts, off road rhetoric with Brent and those guys, and then my kind of take is, I'm almost 50, and so I grew up in Steel Roots, Crusty Demons of Dirt, Moto Triple X era.
Yep.
So I just
Hell yeah.
I'm kind of doing is just not that I'm doing what those guys are doing or did, but just like little snippets like that kind of stuff, punk rock, you
Yeah.
know, old school rap, just as some sick edits, try to get some sick shots and put some music to it and just give those little insights that you guys don't get from the TV cameras. The TV cameras shoot all at wide angles and from far away, and it's so hard to get a perception of how fast these guys are and how gnarly they are when you watch them on TV. I've talked to so many people who've watched the race on TV and then they go see it in person, like, holy crap, dude. And it's like, yeah, so, filming what we're doing. I forget the guy's name, some old school dude, but one of the MX sports guys was like, this guy used to say that your images are the currency of the sport, and they really are. because
Yeah.
everybody watches the race, and then what does everybody do? They go to Instagram and YouTube to see what we posted, or what like Anton had to say, those guys, or the sick videos that Casey Davis and those dudes make, and
Yeah.
and all that kind of shit, or what Lindsay's stirring up, contrary to popular belief, I like Michael, so I think I enjoy picking on him more than anything, but he's a pretty good sport, and he actually gives it back to me from time to time. But so that's just kind of our little wheelhouse of what we're doing, and we're just having an absolute blast, and appreciate
Yeah.
everybody following and telling us we're doing good or telling us we suck. I don't care. I'm still going to do things the way I want to do them, bro. I don't give two
Hell yeah.
shits.
Yeah. And that's the way you got to kind of see it. And yeah, you guys have, since met you guys, and I mean, before I even met you, your guys have been just one of the top media groups and always posting, like you said, up close and personal, getting those interviews that the cameras don't really show. So it's and the passion for it is everything all around is just super fun. I love filming, but especially being at like a pro national or a supercross race, that feeling has to be so rewarding, even though the grind is so draining and exhausting. You're on your feet all day, and that's a lot. You talked about it, you just posted about it after one of the supercross rounds, and because a lot of people want to get into this, or I want to film or be a photographer, how do I do this? And it's it's more than people think. The grind, and it never stops. It's not a 9 to 5. You're continuously posting, you're thinking of new ideas. I mean, even I get burnt out and I get dry on content, but you have to be on top, consistent, posting every day, whether it's once or 3 times a day, all week long. Then you're at races, then you have family. It's a lot. It is
Not to
definitely a
mention,
lot.
I run a consulting business in the oil and mining industry on top of it, dude.
Oh
I've
yeah.
never, I, I never stop from the minute I get up to the minute I go to bed, but I do it because I love it, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people ask about how to get into it. Man, I've probably the luckiest son of a bitch in moto media, if you really think about it, how I went from being on the sidelines to being on the floor of a supercross. It's never been done before the way I did it, and I got really really lucky, and I'm grateful for it. And I show respect to the people who came before me because they showed me the ropes, like Anton and those guys. You know what I mean? And that's the way
Absolutely.
you got to do it if you're going to stay around in this business. Yeah, there's a lot of flash in the pans out there that screw up, but I'm just trying to do it right and treat everybody good and be grateful for what we've done. So
Yeah.
it's a blast. But yeah, there's no glory in it really. You don't see the race, you see a
Not at
section of the
all.
race.
Yeah.
You see some cool shit from time to time. It's frustrating as hell when you go look at a shot you thought you nailed and it's just a hair out of focus,
Yep.
or you were looking over here when that happened over there, and I'm like, shit,
Yep.
and that's the most frustrating thing about being a filmer. But yeah, you start at 6 in the morning, you leave at 9, 10 at night, and then you're editing for a couple days, depending on whether you're doing YouTube or just short stuff like I do on Instagram. And
Yep.
it's a freaking grind. It's not easy, but there's very few people in the world who are going to get on the floor of a supercross, and that's just the way it is. The safety and all that stuff like that. And you know but you kind of got to start, like what you're doing. You've got a good book of business you're doing up there in Northern California. You started a pod, you're networking. I mean, that's, if you're going to get into the business, that's what you got to do. And just don't be a punk about it, and good things will happen for you. And who knows, maybe you end up on top. Like I said, I'm a lucky son of a bitch. I couldn't have been in a better situation, so I can't say that I really put the grind in like you did from the get go. I really gotta. I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you, it landed in my lap and I got lucky. But I'll tell you what, I'm not stupid. I
Mhm.
made something happen of it. Working 30 years in the oil and mining industry, I'll tell you what, I can grind it. I'll grind with anybody.
Mhm.
Bring. We work 712s, 713s for 90, 100 days straight. I'll go all goddamn day.
Oh
And
yeah.
when I'll go a month after you quit just to prove a point. So, what I lacked in skills from videoing, I made up on YouTube University and hard work, dude. And
Yeah.
if you're willing to work hard, you'll make it. You'll
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, and that's literally what it takes. It's not just like a passion for filming or something. Whether you start off at the very beginning or like you, it lands in your lap. In this sport and industry, like it is a lot of who you know because it is such a tight circle and community. And like you said, if you mess up, you're out. Even if you run it, for instance, running across a track when you're not supposed to, you're done. They have your number. They see it all. So if you say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing, don't follow the rules, they see it all. You're out. So
Hey, dude, funny
it's
story. Okay.
stressful.
So the first round of Supercross last year, 24, Nate was the filmer. I was just there as like a reporter kind of deal doing pitch shit. I wasn't down on the floor filming. I wasn't there yet in my mind. I didn't even want to think about trying to film on the floor, but I had track access on my credential, right? So I could go down to the track. Well, I didn't know that didn't mean during the race you had to stay kind of around the podium area. So my fat ass goes cruising around the outside of the track, kind of looking, and I get around. The podium was out in center field, and I get around back to home plate, and I go, "There's nobody out here except for dudes and bibs and AMA shit." I go, "I don't think I'm supposed to be here." So I'm kind of like hanging out in the dugout kind of thing, trying to hide
Yeah.
until the moto was over, and I was gonna scurry off, and some dude comes up to me, and he's like, "Hey man, what are you doing out here?" And I go, "Good question, bud." I go, "I kind of figured out when I got about halfway around here, I shouldn't be out here." And he goes, "Well, do you have track access?" I go, "Yeah." And he kind of laughed. He goes, "Hey man, go down there to see this big dude named Noah who's standing at the famous tunnel for Anaheim tunnel that you always see." And I'm like, "Oh shit, might as well just take my credential off and hand it in now." I go, "Man,
Oh
I didn't
shoot.
even make it a full race, and I'm already getting tossed out of here." So I got to talk to the dude, and he was cool. And I said, "Man, I didn't know, you know." And he explained it to me. He goes, "Hey, just go around the back under the stadium here, back over behind but around the podium, stick around the podium, and you're fine." And I'm like, "Well, this isn't going to go over good." And when I got back over there, Sean Brennan was standing there. He goes, I go, "Hey, Sean." He goes, "What's up?" I go, and for those who don't know, Sean handles the media relations for Feld. That's the guy who decides whether you're in or out. I go, "Dude, I kind of effed up, bro." And he goes, "What did you do?" And I told him the story. And I go, "But I figured I'd rather you hear it from me than
Someone else.
one of your dudes out there on the field that tells you later on there, yeah, I'll be straight up from you when I screw up." And he's like, "No, we're starting out good. That's good,
Yeah.
come to me if you goof up, just like anything in life." So it was so funny. I'm like, "Man, Dave's gonna kill me. I'm gonna be fired. I'm so through, dude." I just blew it, just totally blew it my first day, but it worked out, and everything's going pretty good. But yeah, it's just I'm cracking up about
That's
that one.
hilarious. Well, and because when you do the the press, the media meeting, there's sections where you can go, where you can't go, and a lot of the times, I mean, especially for outdoors, all the places you can't go that are red zone are the
Are so
best
good.
shots, are the sickest angles, and we're like, oh my gosh. But
That's where you got to get creative.
the
You got to get creative.
oh, you buy an extra zoom lens, or you go somewhere to where you just make it work. Sometimes they don't necessarily trip too hard, especially for outdoors. But I was following the rules my first time, like, because I did not want to screw up. But there was at Hangtown, I did screw up one time. I didn't get in trouble, but I talked to Sean too, and was like, yeah, kind of messed up a little bit. I had no idea. It's really hard to run around the track, see who's in the lead. Like even you said, it's hard to watch the race when you got to get to those key spots, get
Yeah.
those shots, and then move around while making sure on your pass you're not in the red zone and you're not on TV or get in trouble. So it's a lot, but
Yeah,
that's
dude.
that's
And
hilarious.
both of us are big dudes, man. We're both
Yeah.
6'1", 250 plus
Yeah.
boys, right? We make a better door than a window. And every weekend I get TV clip, screenshots from people going, "Hey, dude, you're on TV
Dude,
again." I'm
you're
like, "Oh,"
everywhere, dude.
yeah, like San Diego was the worst because I just ran up and I put the camera in, and Tomac kind of leaned
I
over to he
saw
dropped
that.
the glove. I'm right in his face, and I'm like, I guess I jammed it in there a little bit. So I've been
Oh,
catching some heat for that. Not that I was in trouble, just people busting my balls. I'm like, yeah, whatever, man. I didn't
like
mean
the
to.
lens didn't get scratched, so it's all good. But
Yeah, yeah, I didn't hit him in the face with the lens, right? But
oh god, that would be so bad.
oh, yeah, that you might as well just pack your shit and leave.
Yeah, well, that was a great race. Congrats, Eli. I gotta go.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, but with what happened with Eli, could that have been his last
Oh
win? And if it
man.
was, I was right there, front and center. It's one of those things like you can be, I always used to get like front row tickets when I was a fan of Supercross, and that's pretty badass being up on the safety hold, and it's pretty visceral even from being back up farther in the stands or up in the upper decks.
Yeah.
But dude, when you're on the floor of a Supercross race and you're 10 feet from Eli Tomac going mock Jesus through the whoops. I
Oh,
mean,
dude.
there's just nothing like that. Even if you're a local track, you're fastest dude on a local track. I run around Fox or Kahia or all those guys. You got a lot of fast dudes out here running around on a national track,
Oh yeah.
getting down. But when it's actually race time on a Supercross track, there's nothing like that raw power going by you. You're like, holy shit, dude. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
dangerous, dude. I mean, look what happened to that mechanic Otter last year at Hangtown. He got hit by a cruise missile, broke both his legs, and it's dangerous. You got to have your head on
Oh
a swivel
man.
out there, especially when the C class qualifying or the LCQ comes around. Those dudes, they're the baddest dudes around at the local track, but when they get on a Supercross track, it's like me running around the local track. Look out, dude! Your
Yeah.
life's in danger. I may take you out, and so yeah, a lot of crazy shit.
Or those tough blocks when you got the camera to your eye too, and you're trying to film Kenny. Those would take you out too. I'm sure you saw that.
Hey, dude, I talked to that dude in Detroit, man. He broke the Luna or whatever it is, some little bone right here in your wrist. He broke the end of it off. He didn't have a cast on, but I mean, you think you're a
Oh
big
man.
dude? That guy's like a Viking ox, dude. He probably broke it and whatever. He could probably still pick up me and you both with one hand. That dude was a
Oh, I
big boy.
bet. Oh yeah.
Yeah, when he hit the ground, I guarantee the Richter scales went off out there in Detroit, dude. Or no, it's Tampa.
Tampa,
But
yeah.
yeah, yeah, he left a dent in the ground when he hit the ground. I guarantee it. That dude is
Oh
one
my
big boy,
gosh.
dude.
Did you
So
see
that kind
the
of stuff, but he's
post?
still out there working.
Oh yeah, did you see the post from Detroit with him and Kenny? It
Uh-uh.
was like it was on Kenny's story, um, and they got a picture together, and they both said like, oh, made it out of Tampa like alive, like film guy and Roxon, especially after that race. That race was wild.
Dude, I didn't after Pierce went down, dude. I was like, dude,
Oh,
there was just some bad juju in the air there. I was like, dude, Romano ate shit. He ate shit. Who Tomac hurt his leg. When Tomac hurt his leg, it kind of let the air out of the building, dude. And
oh
everybody's
yeah,
like, let's just get through this and get the hell out of here, dude. I mean, uh, we all wanted a technical track. Boy, we got it, dude. That thing was gnarly, and it was a hard track even for the best guys in the world. But
yeah,
when Mookie started getting up
dude,
there on Chase and then Chase crashed, I mean, it changed the whole vibe of the night. But with what happened to Pierce having a burst fracture, I burst fractured my L1 at Lake Berryessa in
oh
'98 off
man,
that big rock. It was 80 something feet that day, and so I know what that feels like to burst fracture a vertebrae. That shit sucks, dude. So
yeah. He was
he'll be
looking
good.
so
He'll be good,
good.
though, dude. He'll
Oh
be
yeah,
good.
he's already
Uh,
walking. He looks like he's recovering really well.
yeah,
So
probably about. I mean, that guy's in world class shape, so I'd give it
oh
five,
yeah,
6 months to be back on the bike ripping, dude. He'll be fine. It's just going to be a little stiff, and when the weather changes, he'll know it's coming, dude.
oh
When
yeah.
you get titanium in your body, you're like a weather vane, dude. So,
The
but
cold definitely sucks when with injuries. 100%. I couldn't even imagine Travis Pastrana during the winter. Like
and he lives in Maryland, dude. That
I
guy probably just like
do. Oh yeah. I don't know how he does it and still does it, but what has been your out of all the tracks so far? I know we're going into Arlington this weekend. What has been your favorite track so far for filming?
Detroit.
Detroit?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Detroit
that
was
was a
the
good
most
race.
fun. Yeah. Tampa, the whole after you came around the start and took the right, that whole section was hard to film unless you're in the safety hold. And if we could get from the safety hold down to the floor, the safe for what people wondering what the safety hold is, it's the front row of the actual stadium in between that gray banner where they actually let people sit. Yeah, the angles there are bitching, but you got to go all the way back up, find an elevator, get down, run through the tunnel, and by the time you miss half the race, but if we could go
Oh
straight,
man.
Salt Lake City is really good in that aspect. There's a staircase, you can just boom, boom in the corners, and so Salt Lake, it's really good to get a lot of good shots because you can go safety hold floor like that, right?
Yeah.
But uh, Detroit was definitely the most friendly. I'd say Anaheim too was probably the hardest one to shoot.
Really? Yeah,
Hmm.
that track was looked a little small, technical, big jumps, and
When the whoops are on
limited.
the inside, you're like, damn it. You're like
Yeah.
sneaking around corners and stuff, creeping, trying to get a shot. And, like I just looked at, I peeped out the Dallas track and the whoops are on the outside. I was like, yeah, let's
Yeah.
go.
That was actually sick. I saw a lot of those clips. How was it also seeing I know we talked about it a little bit on the phone, but how was it being the first filmer in media in the industry to, I mean, it's a bummer, but Awesome Fortner went down, but his Alpine
The
Star
chest spot.
chest
It was
protector,
weird, dude.
it was weird. Like, it was kind of cool that you caught that first clip of it actually in action, besides, JT doing it on TV. But yeah, I mean, you heard that thing and it looked, I don't know. What is your kind of take like on that, especially seeing it in
Oh, I
person?
think I think I think it's great, dude. I think that's gonna save people's lives, dude. Imagine if Austin would have had that on at Dallas last year.
Oh man,
I
yeah.
think they'd have been in a lot better shape. I've seen that thing a couple times. The first time I saw it demonstrated was at Castelli Ride Day this year. And the off-road version's a little bigger. It has two cartridges, so it'll pop and then deflate, and then you have another one. You're out in the middle of nowhere. Moto track, you can pull off and put another charge in it. So the moto's only got one, but yeah, I was just walking by, and when you see that clip, if you go on Whiskey Throttle and watch it, you watch the top block go flying off. I was
Mhm.
standing where that top block is for like no, probably 2, 3 laps filming because it was a really good angle. That Forkner thing was a fluke. I was just walking by and I run my iPhone on my camera rig as like a B cam,
Yeah.
and I had it rolling and I saw Forkner come by and someone said, just follow Forkner. You didn't get Forkner through here. It'd be kind of cool to get him coming past you and going away. And I just saw him clip that block and the block go flying. And I just held my camera still, but I followed the block with my face, and I'm like, dude, that would have knocked the shit out of me, right?
Oh yeah.
And then I heard this, and I look over and I'm like, I see Austin. He looked like he was ready to line up with the Detroit Lions, not race a motocross race. I was like, dude, no way, he's wearing that vest. And it popped, and he got up, and he just looked like you out there instead of Austin, right? Gained 50 pounds in a half a second, but I mean, glad it went off, but he landed on his legs, but he got up, and I kind of have a rule, dude. If a guy goes down hard and he doesn't get up and he gets carted off, I'm probably not going to post it. I just
100%.
kind of a
Yeah.
respect thing. But if you eat shit and you get up, game on.
Yeah.
You're
I'm the same way. If I get a crack, for some reason, as I'm told always, I am always at the right spot at the right time during a race, and I feel like I get more crashes than a filmer should. And it's almost becoming like, dude, am I just jinxing the rider that I'm filming? Do I need to
yeah,
change it up or something? But I do the same thing, especially if I'm making an edit for that writer and they go down. I'll message them, "Hey, do you want that in the edit? Or do you want it out?" So, because especially if they don't get up, like you just don't want that. And it's
yeah,
out of respect for the writer and stuff like that. But even on social media, people they love the crashes just as much as like, Eli going through the whoops with the best form possible. Should we talk about Max Anstein for a second? Like with everything. Well, I guess we'll start with the 250s from this past race. What is your take from having, a 7 to almost 8 second lead to 7 seconds left plus 2 laps, red flagged? I mean, I know McAdoo went down hard. Like we talked about it on the phone. He went down hard. Bike came up. The handlebar caught him. I'm pretty sure, and I mean he was pretty messed
Yeah.
up.
Look like Mike Tyson beat his ass. He
Oh
posted
man,
some today. I guess he broke some teeth, and it was gnarly. It
no
was brutal.
way.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he looked like a dead body out there. I was like, God damn,
Yeah,
but luckily, dude, that dude is the toughest, most resilient son of a bitch I
yeah,
think that's ever put a leg over a bike, dude. You can say what you want about Cameron. Some people say he's dangerous, dude. No, the dude's just going for it. He's got a lot of heart. If you actually talk to him, he's a really, really nice kid, and he's just trying to make his way in life, dude. And I don't think he's out to hurt anybody, but he's fast as shit, and man, he's fun to film, dude. He's got such good style on the bike. So I wouldn't be surprised. Daytona, he's out on the line with a crispy new grill and a nice shiner, dude.
yeah,
But that sucked. But I'm glad all things being equally got up. My take on it is, you know, um, the rule's the rule. They changed it in 2025. And no, none of us knew it. None of the teams knew it. The thing about moto media and fans and everything is everybody's gonna just let you have it real quick if they don't like the outcome of something. And when he when they red flagged it with 7 seconds, I'm like, oh well, that's it, max one. Because I was under the understanding
yeah,
it was the 90% rule, right? And then I go, well, that was kind of anticlimactic, but hey, it is what it is. Let's make sure Cameron's okay. And I said something to one of the star guys. I go, it looks like you won. He goes, yeah, I think we did. And then all of a sudden I heard him come across going, oh, we're going to do a staggered restart. And I went, oh, that's going to go over like a fart in church, dude.
yeah. I
You
was
know,
shocked,
but
especially the time that
oh,
they
God.
had to wait too.
Mhm.
For McAdoo to get off the track and everything. That adrenaline is starting to come down. They're starting to feel like I'm fucking tired now. Now I got to do a sprint.
Yeah. And the thing that bummed me out is why they just didn't let it run another 7 seconds and go out. Yeah, it would have been anticlimactic, but it would have been fair to everybody, right? And I got no problem with the rule. Those guys are
Mhm.
paid to run 15 minutes in the 250 class and 20 minutes, and that's what the fans paid for. They paid for 15 plus 2 and 20 plus 2. So give it
Yeah.
to them, right? The only thing I think they should have done and that they still have the opportunity to do, I think would make it fair, is do the staggered restart. But establish the time gaps between first, second, third, fourth, and
Yes.
fifth, right? And so
Yes.
drop the green flag, and Anstey could have gone 7 seconds. There you go. Get out of here, Levi. Whatever the gap was back to RJ, wait that gap, let him go. And then make sure fourth gets the same opportunity and gap to go to try to get third place from RJ, right? And then after that, just let everybody run it like normal, right? So it would take a little bit of coordinating from the AMA's guys, but you could have a stopwatch there and then slap
Yeah.
them on the back. Did you feel somebody slap you? Go. Something like that. But at least it would have made it fair. And if Levi would have hunted him down and won it, but he had a 7 second head start on the restart, nobody be hot at all. They'd be like, dude, that Levi
Yeah.
Kitchen's a badass, dude.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
it didn't work out like that, and that's the way the rule's written. And you can't be mad at Levi. I mean,
Yeah.
the rule, and he did what he did. Should he have been as excited about it when he came over the finish line? I don't know. Maybe play that a little different and downplay it a little more. He was very humble in the podium, but I think just adrenaline and getting that win, and that's a fat paycheck. So he's kind of pumping it up with him and Roxon, but
Yeah. And
you know,
congratulations to him. Definitely not knocking him whatsoever because,
I would have
those,
just played it. I think the smart thing for him because he's catching a lot of shit.
yeah.
I've seen him catching a lot of shit. If he could have just kind of been like, yeah, I didn't want to get the win that way. He said that in the post race press conference, but
Yeah.
if he kind of would have contained that a little more, he would have skated out of this without hearing anything. We would have rolled right over him, right? But at the end of the day, that check still catches, and
Yeah.
he's still happy, and Max has still got a nice set of points in his bank. So we're just gonna see what happens. I think the one thing that shocked me the most was Anstey on the podium, kind of calling out Bobby Reagan. And that took some big balls. But
Yes, it
from a
did.
business standpoint, if I own Star Racing, I don't care how good he did. Before that press conference is open, there would have been a post from Star Racing say that Anstey was looking for a new job. I wouldn't, whether I purposely
Yeah.
fired him up or not. There's you got to have a line, right? And I think he crossed it on that. Is what it is. I'm not him. I'm not racing for that kind of money. But yeah, like any of my employees, we can go out and have a conversation and go toe to toe. But if you cross that line of respect, I'll throw you out the damn door so quick.
Yeah.
Hey, you know,
That should have
you
been a
pray.
more
You,
private conversation.
you chew ass
100%.
in public and you praise in private, or you don't chew ass in public, right? You
Yeah.
you praise in public and chew ass in private, dude. And if you had a problem, you should have said that off to the side. I just didn't think that was cool that he did that to Bobby. So uh, but my opinion don't matter either. But that just kind of talking about things and how things went. Just the whole thing was just a bizarre moment. But that to me, I think that was the most insane thing about the whole damn thing is going
Yeah.
after team owner, and don't think Bobby won't forget that when it comes time to re-sign the contract.
Yeah. I was really surprised. Like that whole night was just, besides just the racing, it was kind of a big shocker, and I was, I was surprised he did that. He should have definitely done that in private. Um, but everybody handles stuff differently, whether he was running off those pissed off emotions already with a red flag. He was I could see both sides, the whole aspect. But yeah, there's a time and place, especially for his age, his maturity too, as well. It should have been handled a lot
Unless
differently,
he
like you
just
said.
doesn't give a shit and didn't care if he got fired, then
Yeah.
kudos to him for having the balls.
But I mean, look at where he was last year, and now he has the opportunity on Stars. So it's like that's every race you see this year so far, it's been
Yeah.
blue bikes on top, you know, and I feel like it's going to be like that for the rest of this year in Supercross, and possibly look going into outdoors and more riders coming back. But yeah, that was very interesting to see. And then you know RJ Hampshire too. Like he was talking about it. I was watching the press conference before we hopped on, and he was saying like, yeah, right when the staggered start, I was just kind of hoping we just do the 1 2 3, just kind of how everything kind of was. And but he was still trying to bang bars and be up there and stuff. But I think even Levi said it too, if I'm not mistaken, because I'm pretty sure you were in that room as well and heard a lot more than what's posted. But it it was just it was a wild night for sure. It was good
Oh yeah.
racing. It was great racing. I'm super excited for that East Coast. I'm bummed with my boy Fortner. He's been having a kind of a tough run, getting sick and then slowly recovering, then just having the mishaps, I think, in qualifying, even or open practice. I forgot who it was, but came down when he was coming in that corner.
Oh,
Um,
it's that was
bro, like,
that was Hardy Munoz. You saw
yes.
that video I put up, right?
Yeah, I was like, no way. I
Hey, he's
mean,
still got his sense of humor though. They didn't take that out when they did the brain surgery because he even reposted it. He goes, "Sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail."
yeah, I was sitting there and like he's just had a tough run. I mean, the sickness aside, but oh man, I hope that the Cowie curse isn't just stuck on him going into Triumph. But I think we'll see a lot more of him coming up through the ranks
I was trying
throughout
to
the
watch
season.
him and see if I could. He.
he didn't look good, right? He's sick,
Yeah.
you know, still probably dealing with some of the stuff from that brain thing. But I was kind of trying to watch to see if he still had some of that bitching technique, and it's there. He was
Yeah.
still doing some things that some other guys weren't. He just wasn't. He wasn't lacing it all together like he would have before, and the aggression's just not there yet. But I think we'll see it. I think when we get back, I bet by the time we get back to you know uh, Philly and New York
Yeah.
and Pittsburgh, I think he'll if everything works out right, I think you'll see kind of knock the rust off and he'll be ripping again. I think the old Austin's still in there. It's just gonna take a little time.
Yeah, and they're having a kid now and stuff, and the first race he was just saying, "Yeah, I want to win just like anybody up here, but now I have a family. It's more about going into with getting those points, being consistent and being safe because now I'm coming home to a family." And a lot of those guys are doing that same thing, but as you know, they're out there, they have to feed that family, their family. They have to pay those bills and stuff. So this sport is
Brutal.
brutal. Absolutely. But and then going into just the 450s, it sucks. Eli, I thought, I was hoping it was just a bruised calf or he just did something, like just to sprain it, but to ride like that, I know it's going back like a race, but dude, and you were there, you got to see that in first form, like right there in person, charging through whoops, even though he wasn't, putting on that beast mode or anything because he had no idea. But
I think that was the ultimate beast mode, riding through the whoops
oh
with one foot and
yeah,
broken leg. That was the ultimate beast
well
mode.
yeah,
But you know what? There was something I noticed there. He broke his leg in that qualifying session. And for a couple laps before that, he was trying to put in a heater, and that left hand turn through the sand was eating everybody's lunch after the finish line.
yeah,
And I can't remember who went down. I know Bloss had went down, Sexton had went down. It was Sexton, somebody else went down, Sexton, and then Benny Bloss. And he was trying to get a heater lapping, and he kept coming around. And the last time he went around, and when Bloss was down, comes back around and Bloss was still there and he got hot. If you go back and look at our whiskey throttle, I posted it, you can hear him kind of, you can insert whatever colorful metaphors you wanted in there that he put in. But it wasn't another lap or two later that he broke his leg. And I was kind of thinking about it that day. I go, man, was he like frustrated and just not, like had a little, frustration got him, we'll never know. But I
yeah,
think of those kind of things. I kind of trip on that kind of stuff. Like, all right, dude, the 3 laps, 3 laps, he was just frustrated and he yelled out at Benny and then not, well, I think it was 2 laps later, he broke his leg. And I just kind of wonder if frustration crept in there and he just slipped, because it was such a freak weird thing, like, was he just thinking about, man, I got to get through? I don't know. I just kind of trip on that, or
yeah,
maybe I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. But
yeah,
I don't know. I just thought that was a weird thing. It was kind of coincidental.
dude. And Cooper Webb is actually, I'm actually pumped to see him, um, you know, start dominating right now. I know other people are out. Chase Sexton's still there. Kenny Roxon looks good. We just had Malcolm Stewart win. All these guys, Jason Anderson, there's still a lot of top contenders, and Cooper Webb is straight up impressing me over his riding and from, A1 to where he is now. And I think he is going to go after and win this championship on that Yamaha. I'm
Well,
thinking.
I think it's between him and Chase. Roxon hasn't been fading like he used to, so that's
Yeah.
pretty good. But I'm, I don't hide it. I'm not a big fan of that dude. So I couldn't care less if he ever showed up at a race again. But don't wish anything bad. On the bike, the guy's an absolute animal and
Yeah.
amazing to watch. But other than that, I couldn't give two shits. But watching Webb beat him just makes me smile.
You know, I was like, who's
Yeah.
gonna get him? No, it's just, you know, like that's my 2 cents on that. I won't get into why, but if
No,
you
you don't got to.
follow us, if you follow us, you'll know why.
I'll have to do that research. Check
Yeah,
that
there
out.
you go.
But no, yeah, I'm pretty pumped for how this season's gonna go, and I'm excited for just outdoors, especially. I'm hoping to hopefully be out there and even be at the final round in Vegas. Hopefully.
Yeah, you're gonna try and get your credential to go out to that.
Yeah, I talked to Sean and he just said you're sending it in way too early now. You can't select it. And I hit you up. I was like, bro, I can't get this and I need to send it in. Like, do you know anything? And you're like, oh, I think you're just early. Sean messages me like he's so good about reaching out, especially
You're
if
only you're
he's
only
met
you're only
you.
7 months early, bro.
Yeah, he was just like, yeah, Tyler, that's super early. And I was like, Sean, you probably know why I'm sending it in early because I really wanted to be at A2 and I couldn't. So I want to make sure I'm on that list because it's gonna be a show. So I'm hoping.
Vegas wasn't bad last year, and I really, after doing Vegas last year, the SMX final,
Yeah.
seeing how they have the track laid out this year for it, it'll be way better because more of the racing will be down on that floor in front of the people. The track, a lot of the length of the track got moved down into the drag strip, so I think that'll be sick.
Mm,
I'm waiting. I can't wait to get back to Concord. That was a fun round, dude. I thought that
really?
was a blast. Yeah,
Yeah.
Concord was badass.
Yeah. Um no, yeah. I don't want to keep you too long, so we could wrap it up. But before we do, who do you have going into Arlington for your top first place for 250 and 450?
Good man. That 250, that's tough. I don't know whether it's Deegan or Juju. I mean, I think flip a coin and either
Yeah.
one's the likely scenario. It's really nice to see Juju is not letting Hayden run away with it. We all kind of
Yep.
came into the season thinking that Hayden was just gonna wax everybody, and well, that's why we go racing, right? So
Yeah.
I think it's a really cool deal they got going on right there. And I like that Deegan will poke him and Juju's kind of yeah, whatever, you know.
Yeah. He's playing with
But
it.
they
It's good. I love it.
yeah, yeah. But you know what? You see them after the race and they're cool to each
They're
other,
good
you know.
friends. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, there's no beefing, but I
Yeah.
think both of them are pretty goddamn sharp and probably play it up a little bit too, you know, that
Yeah.
puts asses in the seats and puts eyes on them. So
Absolutely.
I flip a coin on who would win there. And as far as Arlington goes, I think Webb's kind of got the head of steam now. But
He
then
does
again,
good
look
at
at Chase.
Arlington.
Chase was testing the integrity of the gate, and he still got third. You know, so I think somebody just needs to walk up and
Yeah.
insult Chase, slap him upside the head, and tell him he ain't good enough right before the gate drops, and watch that guy just do some amazing shit.
Some
If
damage.
that dude's pissed off, he's something else, dude.
Oh
When
yeah.
like what at Hangtown last year, you know,
Bro.
that dude, that dude's passionate, dude. You know, he's a really nice guy and really composed. But boy, when he's hot, I wouldn't want to be in his sights, dude. And then I sure like a pissed off Chase Sexton.
Oh
I
yeah.
am full on somebody come up and give him a wedgie right before they take off, or just piss that dude off.
Pour some
Do
cold
whatever.
water down his jersey.
Yeah, yeah, just do something, insult the shit out of him, dude, and
Yeah.
do it to where there's nothing he can do about it but take it out on the track, and then just tell him just playing dog after the race or something, you know. But
Yeah.
like Bobby did with Max, you know, get him fired up and tell him he doesn't, you know. Look at what Max did. He was out there just railing, dude. He was so hot, and
Yeah.
there's certain dudes that react different to that kind of stuff. But just seen enough of Chase now that when he's hot, he's dangerous.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. I feel like I mean my picks are basically the same. I think you could literally flip a coin on Juju or Deegs. So it,
Let me be clear. I'm not giving any picks, any of that shit.
no,
You
yeah.
know, that's just
Because
what
we
I
just
think.
don't know what's gonna happen, but
Yeah.
and it's just
That's my
been
opinion
a
only.
coin flip, but I'm looking forward to it and seeing how their break has been. I know that Hayden's been practicing. I mean, all of them. Juju's been practicing, and then just enjoying the time off. So I'm excited to see everyone come back from time off. Uh, the nervousness or the shakes are just kind of out of the way from those couple rounds. And excited to see what goes on there. And then obviously the 450 class, it's going to be by those two. And I mean, if Chase can keep it on two wheels, we'll see what happens. But no, yeah, I'm super pumped that you were able to come on. Thank you for taking the time. And everybody, make sure you guys go follow Jeff on his personal. I will put all the links in there, and Whiskey Throttle Media. Go show them some love. They're posting great content all the time and at all the rounds. So thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. And
yeah, thanks for having me on, bud. Let's do it again.
Anything else that you want to say, or good to go?
Yeah, I ramble on all damn night, dude, and people
Right.
probably tired of listening to my stupid ass. But no, thanks for having me on, man. Let's do it again.
Absolutely. Thank you.